Jephthah by Ginzberg. The first judge of any importance after Gideon was Jephthah. He, too, fell short of being the ideal Jewish ruler. His father had married a woman of another tribe, an unusual occurrence in a time when a woman who left her tribe was held in contempt. 106. Jephthah, the offspring of this union, had to bear the consequences of his mother's irregular conduct. So many annoyances were put upon him that he was forced to leave his home and settle in a heathen district. At first Jephthah refused to accept the rulership which the people offered him in an assembly at Mizpah, for he had not forgotten the wrongs to which he had been subjected. In the end, however, he yielded and placed himself at the head of the people in the war against Gileadite, the king of the Ammonites. At his departure, he vowed before God to sacrifice to him whatsoever came forth out of the doors of his house to meet him when he returned a victor from the war. God was angry and said, "So Jephthah has vowed to offer unto me the first thing that shall meet him. If a dog were the first to meet him, would a dog be sacrificed to me? Now shall the vow of Jephthah be visited on his firstborn, on his own offspring, yea, his prayer shall be visited on his only daughter. But I assuredly shall deliver my people, not for Jephthah's sake, but for the sake of the prayers of Israel." The first to meet him after his successful campaign was his daughter Shelah. Overwhelmed by anguish, the father cried out, "Rightly was the name Shelah, the one who is demanded, given to thee, that thou shouldst be offered up as a sacrifice. Who shall set my heart in the balance, and my soul as the weight, that I may stand and see whether that which happened to me is joy or sorrow? But because I opened my mouth to the Lord, and uttered a vow, I cannot take it back." Then Shelah spoke, saying, "Why dost thou grieve for my death, since the people was delivered? Dost thou not remember what happened in the day of our forefathers, when the father offered his son as a burnt offering, and the son did not refuse, but consented gladly, and the offer and the offered were both full of joy? Therefore do as thou hast spoken. But before I die I will ask a favor of thee. Grant me that I may go with my companions upon the mountains, sojourn among the hills, and tread upon the rocks to shed my tears, and deposit there the grief for my lost youth. The trees of the field shall weep for me, and the beasts of the field mourn for me. I do not grieve for my death, nor because I have to yield up my life, but because when my father vowed his heedless vow, he did not have me in mind. I fear, therefore, that I may not be an acceptable sacrifice, and that my death shall be for nothing." Shelah and her companions went forth and told her case to the sages of the people, but none of them could give her any help. Then she went up to Mount Telag, where the Lord appeared to her at night, saying unto her, "I have closed the mouth of the sages of my people in this generation, that they cannot answer the daughter of Jephthah a word, that my vow be fulfilled, and nothing of what I have thought remain undone. I know her to be wiser than her father, and all the wise men, and now her soul shall be accepted at her request, and her death shall be very precious before my face all the time." Shelah began to bewail her fate in these words, "Hearken, ye mountains, to my lamentations, and ye hills, to the tears of my eyes, and ye rocks, testify to the weeping of my soul. My words will go up to heaven, and my tears will be written in the firmament. I have not been granted the joy of wedding, nor was the wreath of my betrothal completed. I have not been decked with ornaments, nor have I been scented with myrrh and with aromatic perfumes. I have not been anointed with the oil that was prepared for me. Alas, O mother, it was in vain thou didst give birth to me. The grave was destined to be my bridal chamber. The oil thou didst prepare for me will be spilled, and the white garments my mother sewed for me, the moth will eat them. The bridal wreath my nurse wound for me will wither, and my garments in blue and purple, the worms will destroy them, and my companions will all their days lament over me. And now, ye trees, incline your branches and weep over my youth. Ye beasts of the forest, come and trample upon my virginity, for my years are cut off, and the days of my life grow old in darkness." 108. Her lamentations were of as little avail as her arguments with her father. In vain, she sought to prove to him from the Torah that the law speaks only of animal sacrifices, never of human sacrifices. In vain she cited the example of Jacob, who had vowed to give God a tenth of all the possessions he owned, and yet did not attempt later to sacrifice one of his sons. Jephthah was inexorable. All he would yield was a respite during which his daughter might visit various scholars who were to decide whether he was bound by his vow. According to the Torah, his vow was entirely invalid. He was not even obliged to pay his daughter's value in money. But the scholars of his time had forgotten this halakha, and they decided that he must keep his vow. The forgetfulness of the scholars was of God, ordained as a punishment upon Jephthah for having slaughtered thousands of Ephraim. One man there was living at the time who, if he had been questioned about the case, would have been able to give a decision. This was the high priest Phinehas. But he said proudly, "What, I, a high priest, the son of a high priest, should humiliate myself and go to an ignoramus?" Jephthah, on the other hand, said, "What, I, the chief of the tribes of Israel, the first prince of the land, should humiliate myself and go to one of the rank and file?" So only the rivalry between Jephthah and Phinehas caused the loss of a young life. Their punishment did not miss them. Jephthah dies a horrible death. Limb by limb his body was dismembered. As for the high priest, the Holy Spirit departed from him, and he had to give up his priestly dignity. 109. As it had been Jephthah's task to ward off the Ammonites, so his successor Abdon was occupied with protecting Israel against the Moabites. The king of Moab sent messengers to Abdon, and they spoke thus, "Thou well knowest that Israel took possession of cities that belonged to me. Return them." Abdon's reply was, "Know ye not how the Ammonites fared? The measure of Moab's sins, it seems, out against the enemy, slew 45,000 of their number and routed the rest." 110.